Mario games, there's what, like 1,000 of them? And that's just the official ones. What about all of the ROM hacks that are available? There's about 1 million of these, and each is usually containing the challenge level of Ninja Gaiden or Dark Souls. I happen to own 2 of these ROM hacks on cartridge, and as such I decided to play one for a review this week. That one happens to be Super Mario Bros. 3 Mix, a nice amalgamation of many different Mario games rolled into one neat little gray plastic shell. Right from the start, you might notice something interesting. You get to choose between 3 different characters: Mario, Luigi, and Toad. Almost like Mario 2, just missing the princess, who was obviously kidnapped from Bowser. Again. Unlike Mario 2, the character you choose is simply cosmetic, so you're not going to need to pick Luigi to jump to out-of-reach areas or Toad to pick up objects quickly. It's just not necessary. From here, you're presented with a world map not unlike Mario 3. But choosing the first stage, you'll notice that it's probably familiar. A remake of Mario 1-1. As you progress through the game, you're going to notice that there's a lot of nostalgic stages, and you'll find that this is 3 Mix's selling point. A mixture of many different Mario games, all in the Mario 3 engine. Mario 1, 2, 3, obviously, World, Land, Sunshine, Galaxy, they're all here. It's actually pretty impressive to see all the different features that were rolled into the game. In order to make room for all of this stuff, you can see that some staples from Mario 3 were removed, mostly in regards to enemy sprites and power-ups. Raccoon Mario is gone, replaced instead by a Tanuki suit that can still fly but cannot turn into a statue. Although I never found that ability to be particularly useful anyway. You can turn into Penguin Mario, and the ability to freeze then kick enemies is surprisingly included in the game, and is required in a boss fight. When in water, Penguin Mario reacts much like the frog suit. It's really fun to keep playing the game to find out what other new stuff you'll find. So imagine my joy when playing the game and running into the first level of Mario 2, complete with Shy Guys and Ninja. Of course, the mechanics aren't there. There are no potions to pick up and throw, no vegetables to uproot, no slot machine bonus games. It's just many enemies to defeat and levels to encounter and complete. Because of this fact alone, I just kept playing it. Out of the ROM hacks I own, this is definitely the easier of the 2. 1-ups are plentiful, and if you find a time where lives are starting to get a little scarce, you can backtrack to previous levels at any time to replay them. Unlike the original Mario 3, there are mid-stage checkpoints in the majority of the levels to ease any frustrating moments. You can also use power-ups that you've won from the Wii/DS Mario Bros. Games matching minigame. That probably sounded confusing, but I know what I meant, and therefore so should you. One of the interesting things that I saw on the inventory screen is a key. I haven't found one yet, but I can only assume that they allude to the hidden final stage. I was able to complete the main game, but I know there is stuff that I missed, such as secret areas. I'm not done playing it, of course, but I want to finally review this game and move on. Then again, even when finishing the game, there's still plenty of stuff to do. You can attempt to find all 3 star coins in each stage. Sometimes this is easy to do, other times you will need to do a bit of digging to find them all. There are then 2 new ways of clearing many of the levels: flawless runs and purple coins. The flawless runs are self-explanatory. The purple coin stages just require you to run through the stage and nab all purple coins before you die or time runs out. You'll know how many coins you have left because the coin counter on the status bar will actually run down as you collect them. Pretty cool stuff. Another awesome thing about Mario 3 Mix is Yoshi makes an appearance. That's right, a playable Yoshi in an NES Mario game. He functions just like his 16-bit brethren, although just like the newer games, he's limited to specific stages, and if you clear a level with Yoshi in tow, he will not follow you to the next stage. It's a shame, but I guess this is there to make the game less of a cakewalk. And that's the thing, the game isn't exactly hard to finish if you're anywhere close to being a decent Mario player, and that's one of my gripes about the game. For as fun as it is, the difficulty can kinda be all over the place. The game starts off easy enough, which is fine because I played a hell of a lot more Mario 3 than Mario 1, and quite frankly, I suck at the original Mario. Okay, really, it's not the original Mario, that's the arcade game Mario Bros., and I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at that, but you know what I mean. But when you start clearing stages, you'll find that some of them are a lot more difficult than others that may be immediately before or after that stage. In fact, I found a lot of the later stages to be much easier than the earlier game levels. Maybe it's because I got the hang of the game's workings or something, but there are very few times that I struggle with a stage. And that all comes to a head with this level here. It's not because it's challenging, because I got the hang of the Super Mario Galaxy mechanics fairly quickly, which in itself is impressive to see on the old toaster. But I felt like this is where the game's at times glitchy nature puts a stop to your progress. You encounter this area where you know you probably need to flip to the other part of the ground, but each time I attempted it, I just kept falling to my death. This happened over and over and over, and I remember reading somewhere that the game may have had a potentially fatal glitch that prevented the game from being completable. But then again, I couldn't remember if that glitch pertained to this game or a different ROM hack. After many different attempts, I found out that you needed to fall to a very specific spot so that the game would flip you properly. There was no way for me to know this for sure, and it simply happened on accident because I was in the right spot at the right time. Knowing that, I was able to finish the stage, but that did get pretty frustrating quickly. As I just mentioned, glitches are fairly plentiful in the game, but that's to be expected in a ROM hack. Blocks may change color for no reason, along with vines that you pop out of bricks. There occasionally tends to be a garbled mess of pixels that appears, and my assumption is that the next area doesn't load properly in memory, so the game just kind of places the graphics where it sees fit. And although it's not a real glitch, there are times where slowdown can present itself, and oftentimes in areas where it makes no sense. Might have just been a memory optimization issue, I don't know. I don't code games, but that would be my educated guess. But either way, none of these issues, save for that late game Mario Galaxy gravity bug, detract from the fun of the game. The music is hit or miss. Much of it is pulled directly from the source games, but other stuff like the map music for World 1 is just awful. Thankfully, most of the bad music doesn't appear often, but it is still something that deserves to be mentioned. The only thing that I really have left to talk about is the saving. Thankfully, the game has a battery backup, which is completed because the game is fairly large. I wouldn't want to imagine sitting down and completing the game in one sitting. However, saying that, either the battery in my game doesn't work, or the Retron 5 isn't liking the game, as the save feature doesn't seem to be functional. I'm guessing it's because the Retron doesn't know what the game is to start with, as I get an unknown cartridge header every time I start it up. At least it's playable, and to save I just used the built-in save states. But I did test the save feature, and the other thing is, it saves all of your power-ups, completion, and score, but not your lives. Really? That's just strange to save things like your score, but not your lives. Super Mario Bros. 3 Mix is an amazingly competent ROM hack, with a few bugs here and there. It's almost like the Sonic Mania of Mario games, since it plays homage to so many games in the plumber's career. If you're a fan of Mario games, you owe it to yourself to check this out, as it's one of those games that makes you smile as you encounter something from your childhood. I bought it off OCDreproductions.com for $35, and I highly recommend it if you're into collecting the stuff. If not, at least download and patch the ROM to give it a shot. Final score? 6 out of 7. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.